I could set it in this case right here. I've done this before. This case here. Let's see, you can see me. Now I'm recording here as well as on my GoPro, and this will save the record. This is how I can get it to save the recording. And I just set it up on my laptop up there like you would a webcam type thing. I can turn that just a little bit. That'll be better. I think that'll work. I can even skip over a little bit. I think that's pretty good. I think we can live with that. All right. So today we're going to be in the Book of Genesis. We're going to be reading at 45, Genesis 45 today for the reading. So this is Joseph revealed to his brothers. Yesterday's reading, we read about his brothers coming in to Egypt to buy food, and they didn't recognize Joseph. You got to remember that Joseph was sold at a fairly young age, and then he was sold off to Egyptians, Potiphar, and he redid Joseph's entire appearance to make him look more Egyptian. Probably the hairstyles was probably different. Some people say they used to wear like maybe even some well, they just looked different. So anyway, they didn't recognize him. So whatever the Egyptians did to him, it changed his appearance so much that his brothers didn't recognize him, but he recognized his brothers, and he's testing them. He's been testing them. So yesterday we read all the way to where Benjamin got caught taking the cup, and Joseph was really getting ready to give it to Benjamin, and his brothers spoke up, especially Judah. I believe it was Judah. Let me come back here, and we'll yeah, Judah came near to Joseph and was telling him that he would gladly take his place, because he couldn't go back to his father if Benjamin didn't go back with them, because he couldn't face his father. So he was willing to give his freedom for Benjamin's freedom. So that's where we're at now in 45, and this is Joseph revealed to his brothers. Then Joseph could not restrain himself before all those who stood by him, and he cried out, "Make everyone go out from me." So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of the Pharaoh heard it. Then Joseph said to his brother, "I am Joseph." He just revealed himself to his brothers. They've been bound down to him all this time and treating him as a king, because Joseph was as a king. The only one above him was the Pharaoh. So, does my father still live? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence, because they didn't recognize him. The Egyptians had done a complete makeover of Joseph, so he was unrecognizable to them. And Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come near to me." So they came near. Then he said, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves, because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve a prosperity for you in the earth, and to save your lives by the great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me here, but God. And he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and a lord of all his house, and a ruler through all the land of Egypt. Hurry and go up to my father, and say to him, This says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children, your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. There I will provide for you, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, for there are still 5 years of famine. So there's a big drought going on, and it's going to last for 5 more years. Famine is same as a drought, but it's really severe. They're 2 years into it, and they got 5 more to go. So there's supposed to be the dream that Pharaoh had said for 7 years. Joseph said for 7 years there would be famine. So 7 years of drought. He's 2 in, 5 left to go. And behold, your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see that it is my mouth that speaks to you. So you shall tell my father of all the glory in Egypt, and of all that you have seen, and you shall hurry and bring my father down here. Then he fell on his brother's Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that his brothers talked with him. Now the report of it was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brothers have come. So it pleased Pharaoh and his servants well. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, Say to your brothers, do this, load your animals and depart. Go to the land of Canaan, bring your father and your households, and come to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded, do this. Take carts out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Bring your father and come. Also do not be concerned about your gods, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. Then the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them carts according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them provisions for the journey. He gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father these things: 10 donkeys loaded with the good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brother away, and they departed. And he said to them, See that you do not become troubled along the way. Then they went up out of Egypt and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob, their father. Now remember, in this chapter, they're changing back and forth between Jacob, the name Jacob, and the name Israel, because this same person, God struggled with Jacob. Remember, they wrestled, and after they wrestled, God says your name will now be Israel, because you have wrestled with God. So in chapter 45 is the first chapter where we're seeing both Jacob's name, and 44 we see Jacob's name in Israel in the same chapter, and we're seeing it here now as well. I think here they're back to Jacob, and you'll see here in a minute, they went up to Egypt and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob, their father. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart stood still, because he did not believe them. But when they told him all the words which Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. Okay, now look here. Now we're going to go back to, then Israel said. You see, they're using both his names in this chapter. It is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. So they're flipping back and forth between his name Jacob and his name Israel. And we'll see if they do that in 46. And I can tell you already, just by looking at it, I see both names being used in 46 also. So Israel took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices to God of his father Isaac. Then God spoke to Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. So he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not fear to go down to Egypt, for I will make of you a great nation there. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I also surely bring you up again. And Joseph will put his hand on your eyes. Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob, their little ones, and their wives in the carts of Pharaoh had sent to carry him. So they took their livestock and their goods which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went to Egypt. Jacob and all his descendants with him, his sons and his sons' sons, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all the descendants he brought with him to Egypt. Now these were the names of the children of Israel, Jacob and his sons who went to Egypt. Reuben was Jacob's firstborn, the sons of Reuben. And now we're going to get into a long genealogy, and it's going to go all the way down. It starts at 46, verse 8. Now these were the names of the children of Israel, Jacob and his sons who went to Egypt with him. Reuben was Jacob's firstborn, and it starts the sons of Reuben in 9, and it goes all the way down to the son of Dan, Rachel's daughters. It finishes the chapter, I think. And the sons of Joseph who were born to him in Egypt were 2 persons. Yeah, it pretty much feels that finishes the end of chapter 46 is the genealogy of all the sons and the sons of Rachel. And so we're not going to finish 46. Well, we're going to skip that. We're going to go from 9 to 28. We're going to start back up in verse 28 here. Then he sent Judah before him to Joseph to point out before him the way to Goshen. And they came to the land of Goshen. So Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. Here we go again, 46. We've heard Jacob, now we're hearing Israel, his father Israel. And he presented himself to him, and he fell on his neck and wept his neck a good while. And Israel said to Joseph, remember earlier in the chapter 46 they was calling Israel Jacob, and now they're calling Jacob Israel. It's 2 names, same person. Israel said to Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are still alive. Then Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, I will go up and tell Pharaoh, and say to him, my brothers and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me, and the men are shepherds, for their occupation has been to feed livestock, and they have brought their flocks, their herds, and all that they have. So it shall be, when Pharaoh calls you and says, What is your occupation? That you shall say, Your servant's occupation has been with livestock from our youth even till now, both we and also our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians. Then Joseph went and told Pharaoh and said, My father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds and all that they possess had come from the land of Canaan. And indeed they are in the land of Goshen. And he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh said to his brothers, What is your occupation? And they said to Pharaoh, Your servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. And they said to Pharaoh, We have come to dwell in the land, because your servants have no pasture for their flocks, and for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. Now, therefore, please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen. Then Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, Your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is before you. Have your father and brothers dwell in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know any competent men among them, then make them chief herdsmen over my livestock. So not only are they going to be tending to their flocks, but Pharaoh, if there's any competent men out of any of their tribes, they're to be over his livestock. They're supposed to be the chief herdsmen over his livestock. Then Joseph brought his father Jacob and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Jacob, How old are you? Here we go again. We went from Israel, now we're back to Jacob. How old are you? And Jacob said to Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days of the years of the life of my fathers, in the days of their pilgrimage. So Jacob blessed Pharaoh, and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph situated his father and his brothers, and gave them possessions in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. Then Joseph provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with bread according to the numbers in their families. Now there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very severe, so that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for grain, which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all Egyptians came to Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For the money has failed. Then Joseph said, Give your livestock, and I will give you bread for your livestock. If the money is gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses, the flocks, the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys. Thus he fed them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. When that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, We will not hide from my lord that our money is gone. My lord also has our herds of livestock. There is nothing left in the sight of my Lord but our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants of Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land may not be desolate. We're in the chapter. Oh no. Really? Okay, so what's going on here? I'm thinking. No, I know it crashed. Yep, it crashed. What's going on here now? I lost my live. I lost my live on TikTok. We're gonna have to pull it back up and we'll see if we can restart it. Oh, nothing happened. Oh, I think I said the die word on TikTok while I was reading. I keep forgetting. So I think they booted me. I think they booted me. Yeah, it did say that. Yeah, it said that right there. Yep. That we may live and not die, that the land may be not be desolate. It kicked me. We're gonna try to start this back up. It may not let me do a live. Continue hosting live from that device or in the video before going live again. Continue live. Okay, so we're gonna try to continue this. See if it'll let us. Well, it started over, so let's go back to Facebook now. See if we can get this on Facebook again, since it kicked me out. I said the D word. I'm reading a book and I think it, recognized the D word, and probably thinks I'm suicidal now. Thought it was making sure I'm on the right camera. Oh my. Yeah, I got booted. We're restarting all this. I got to get it back up on Facebook too. So that's what I'm waiting on. I don't even know where I left off. I left off over here. I'm a ready to go. It booted me. It booted me in chapter 47, so I'll probably just start reading 47 over again once we get this thing up and okay. I think we're rolling. Okay, let's minimize this. Minimize that. We'll get out of here. Okay, we're going to pick back up in 47. I'm going to start at the top of 47 since I have some technical difficulties. Then Joseph went and told Pharaoh and said, "My father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds, and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan. And indeed they are in the land of Goshen." And he took 5 from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh said to his brothers, "What is your occupation?" And they said to Pharaoh, "Your servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers." And they said to Pharaoh, "We have come to dwell in the land because your servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen." And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, "Your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is before you. Have your father and your brothers dwell in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know any competent men among them, then make them chief herdsmen over my flock." So not only is he giving them land, if he's got any competent men, he's going to make them, they're going to jump straight to the chief herdsman jobs over Pharaoh's livestock. So then Joseph brought his father Jacob and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Jacob, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The days of the years of my pilgrims are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days of the years of the life of my fathers. In the days of their pilgrims, Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph situated his father and his brothers and gave them possessions in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses. Pharaoh commanded that Joseph provide his father, his brothers, and all his father's household with the bread according to the number of their families. Okay. Now there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very severe, so that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they brought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, "Give us bread, for why should we give in your presence, for the money has failed." And I'm not going to say the D word. I think that's why I got booted. So why should we D in your presence, for the money has failed? Then Joseph said, "Give your livestock, and I will give you bread for your livestock." If the money is gone, so they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses, the flocks, the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys. This he fed them with bread in exchange for their livestock that year. When that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, "We will not hide from my lord that our money is gone. My lord has also our herds of livestock. There is nothing left in the sight of my lord for our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants of Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and not die, that the day that the land may not be desolate." I can't say that word because I think it booted me about 2 minutes ago for saying the D word. So we'll just say D. Um, so we don't get booted again in the middle of our readings. Then Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for every man of the Egyptians sold his field, because the famine was severe upon them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he moved them into the cities from one end of the borders of Egypt to the other end. Only the land of the priest he did not buy, for the priest had rations allotted to them by Pharaoh, and they ate their rations which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their lands. Then Joseph said to the people, indeed, I have bought you and your land this day for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land, and it shall come to pass in the harvest that you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh. 4/5 shall be your own, as seed for the field and for your food, for those of your households, and as food for your little ones. So they said, you have saved our lives. Let us find favor in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt to this day, that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the land of the priest only, which did not become Pharaoh's. So Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions there, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the length of Jacob's life was 147 years. When the time drew near that Israel must die, he called his son Joseph and said to him, now if I have found favor in your sight, please put your hand under my thigh and deal kindly and truly with me. Please do not bury me in Egypt, but let me lie with my fathers. You shall carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place. And he said, I will do as you have said. Then he said, swear to me. And he swore to him. So Israel bowed himself on the head of the bed. So we did 46, 45, 46, and 47 today. So tomorrow we'll start up in 48. We did have some hiccups here, but I think I know why. There's certain words you can't say on TikTok. So we'll have to take care of that later. Now I've got somebody ringing my phone.